Therapy Roulette, consent to vent. Trauma disguised as comedy. Therapy Roulette, consent to vent. If you don't have problems, then you're likely repressing shit and you should find a therapist who's not me.
Welcome back to Therapy Roulette. Today I am joined by Meryl Klemow. Sorry. I'll do it.
I gave you too many mnemonic devices.
You know how like thinking and talking don't always line up, so I was like, the thought came after.
The story of my life, yes.
All right, I'll totally just start a new track.
Okay. That's so
Story
funny. Yeah,
of
I
my
think
life.
that's cool movie. Yep.
Welcome back to Therapy Roulette. Today I am joined by Meryl Klemow. She is a podcaster and comedian. Meryl, did I butcher your name again?
I love the way you said it. No, it's beautiful. You got it right.
You have to be phonetic sometimes.
Yeah, Klemow.
Klemow. That's such a fun name.
I was just gonna say I have like the least Hollywoody name ever because it's. I mean, I love the Meryl part, and I'm also very that I have like a Meryl Streep as my name guardian or whatever. So because I think she paved the way for all the Meryls. I'm honored to be a Meryl, but Klemow is like not the sexiest name, but we do what we can.
Well, that's okay. It doesn't have to be a sexy name. You could do that in some other way you present or put on music, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's other way to embrace it.
That's so funny. Yeah. Well, welcome to the podcast. It's good to have you.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here. I really am.
Yes, you're a professional podcaster too. Tell me about your podcasting life because I know you have one Campfire shit show. Do you have multiple?
You know what? I had multiple at a time, and then they pared down to just Campfire Shit Show, which is it's a comedy podcast about the people's shit show moments in life. And that one has been going actually for almost 5 years, which back in 2016, 2017, I started it with a comedian friend, Bo Hufford. And we wanted to talk about the shit show moments in life just because we wanted to make other people feel better about the fact that we all have them. And it's been going strong for 4 years and really fun.
Nice. I love the concept, and it's also like you put Campfire in there so it gets visual appeal on your little avatar, and it's a fun word. So you're like, come on, have fun with us while we talk about terrible times we went through.
Exactly. The whole premise is
awesome.
that guests get in our sleeping bag. Like, we sit around a campfire and our listeners are our campers. And then our question of the week is our camper of the week. So we've built this world where it's just like a Muppet world of craziness.
Yeah. That's so cool. Do you record it in San Diego?
We do both. I just moved up a few months ago up here to Los Angeles. I live in Burbank, so we split our time. I go down to San Diego where Bo is, and then he comes up to me. He comes up to LA very begrudgingly. He doesn't like it up here, so we do half and half.
Well, that's pretty equal. I like that.
We're equal in everything we do. Yeah, very much.
Equal partnership.
Oh, equal partnership. Yep. And yeah, exactly. I love having a partnership that is very, for 5 years we've been working really closely and creatively, and it feels very good to me to have someone that's just like, a steadfast creative partner.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's so nice to interact with another human and be like, do this with me.
Yes.
Be my partner. Like it's rare to find someone you can collab with like that, so that's really lucky.
Yep, I feel very lucky. We also fight really well too. A lot of people ask us if we're a married couple, and we're both like, oh heck no, but we do argue. So it's because we've both, I think, worked on our communication skills through having our own challenges of working together, but still at the end of the day, always, wanting to remain in partnership.
Yeah. Like you have to treat it like a relationship of sorts where you're like, obviously we're going to like butt heads. So how do we navigate that?
Yes, very much.
That's smart. Yeah. So that's awesome that you kind of work on that with your podcast partner, Bo. How is your mental health going today? How's it going typically? How's that been?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so excited to talk with you because this is definitely an area I'm very passionate about. I've, like everyone, I've struggled with my own mental health. In college, I really had a bad yeah, super bad. Like looking back into it, I definitely always struggled with anxiety. I think even I didn't even know, but in my younger years, I would like losing my breath and not really knowing what stuff was. And looking back, I'm like, oh, these are symptoms of stress or anxiety. And then in
Mhm.
college is when like I had my first full blown panic attack, and I didn't know what that was. And like many people, it kind of knocked me for a loop and really like upheaved my life. Of just kind of like it went from like one track to having a panic attack to kind of a whole different other track. Um, and then through that,
Yeah.
I've just been always working, and I've done many different things, and really, I think in the past couple of years, I don't want to say I've grown out of them, but I feel like um, I've become friends with my anxiety, and just it's just part of my normal day life now. And I think I've learned how to like, I'm not a Zen master or anything, but I still definitely have anxiety, but I've learned how to funnel it and channel it, I think, in ways that are healthy. Um, but I'm really
Yeah.
like a
'Cause
strong believer in a lot of things that make up mental health, like, sunshine and drinking a lot of water. And just like, I think that there are so many big factors that are non-expensive
Mhm.
and out there and available for us. And they are great tools to use along with therapy.
Yeah, I love how you note the things that make us like plants, like sunshine and water. Those are good for us.
Yes,
Are
very
they
much.
are
I'm like a
important.
golden retriever.
Yeah, they're easy to forget. That's why you have to keep reminding yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Every day I'm like, I need to go on a walk. I need to be in the sun. I need to drink water. So it really is like I am like a dog almost. But um
Yeah.
yeah, I felt like isn't that funny? And I mean, I think medical providers do the best that they can, but I also think mental health treatment is
Do
so
they? Some of
fragmented.
them.
Some of them do. I
Mhm.
mean, I look back in college and I think I was just basically given like a pamphlet and a prescription to Lexapro and really no other help. And at that time, like, they didn't ask me about like how much coffee I was drinking. I think, my anxiety
Right.
tends to correlate a lot with how I'm treating my body and what I'm doing. And it was like not until I really came to California did people seem to correlate like diet, how much water we're drinking, how many plants and vegetables we're eating to how we feel. So in some ways I can feel a little bit
Yeah.
snooty about like Western medical approach to mental health, but I honor that for what it is.
Yeah. I like how you bring it back to California because it is much more like open here and everyone's like in touch with their bodies and their spirit. So they love talking about mental health and Botox and everything else. They're like, what can you buy and what can you put inside your body? But how does it affect everything? So they can be holistic too. Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, where did you move from?
I went to school
Where did
I
you
went to
move
school in
from?
I went to school in Pennsylvania, or I'm from Pennsylvania. I went to school in Syracuse. Um, and
Oh,
so I'm originally from
cool.
the East
East
Coast, which is
Coast.
super cool. Yep, East Coast. And I was just
Yeah.
going to say too, for the holistic way, I also find like I almost reject a little bit of that as well, because like yoga didn't really seem to work for me. I'm not, I have my own basically way of meditating, which is pretty much going on like walks and just trying to be as mindful as I can and noticing the flowers. So I really also found like the good way is always in the middle, and so I think out here it can almost
Mhm.
fall a little bit to like Tibetan sound bowls and all that stuff. But sometimes it's like you need to just find your own individual what works for you. And so I think that I really empowered over the past couple of years when I did that.
Nice. Yeah, I think I only became open to going to therapy and then like much later talking about it, moving to LA because I moved here from New York. And in New York, I was like, no one can know about this. No one
Right.
can know
It's
my
like
deep personal life,
exactly,
my inner
exactly. Yeah.
struggles. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and I had a wonderful therapist. I had really not found any therapist that I felt like was a partner of mine until in San Diego. I had a therapist named Janet who was really wonderful, and I feel like she was the first one really for me to combine a lot of the Eastern philosophies mixed with like cognitive therapy. And we would do a
Hmm.
Reiki session, but then we would also do more of like the traditional type therapy. And I really love her. She moved away, but she really was the the first therapist I felt like really got me and was smart enough to understand the whole like very holistic approach.
Yeah. So you connected with at least one therapist for a while. That can change your life.
Yeah, it really could. It really, really did it. Because I felt like in the past I would go to
Nice.
someone and I would almost like ask them, "Are you sure this isn't my neurotransmitter? No, this is my epinephrine." And so almost like I feel like a kid is like too annoying for their parents. Like I feel like that's how I am with doctors and therapists. So I need someone that's like way smart and someone that is just tells me to like shut up and trust them, and I know I can actually trust them.
Yeah. Well, you instinctively, you shouldn't have to be like, I feel like I should question this doctor because I like you should be able to trust them pretty close to 100%, but still be skeptical. So if you're already feeling like, I don't know about this guy, I'm getting weird vibes, it's a sign it's not a good doctor.
Yeah, totally. And for me, the ideal
Yeah.
therapist would be someone that has at least acknowledges all of the things that I feel like are important, and at least like on the uptake sheet, when you go in and like click, or not click, but when you sign off on everything, like
Yeah.
I I need my person to like want to look at everything I'm doing in life, like how much I'm drinking, how much if I'm taking drugs, because I think that plays into mental health so much. So yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I like also how you mentioned anxiety is now your friend or it's like a part of you because there are some life, like most mental illnesses, if they're genetic or they're in your like brain makeup, that's lifelong. So you have to learn to cope with it and maybe like manage it and diminish it, but
Right.
it's always there. So you have to learn how to be like, my anxiety is good sometimes. Like let me like train it and harness it and it'll help me be a better comedian or podcaster or like it'll help me always be prepared for disasters. Like it can come in handy.
Exactly. I always tell people that I think comedian or anxious people actually have an easier time being stand-up comedians, because it's like we're already freaking out about everything. And so I'm like, okay, standing in front of a group of people, that doesn't change my flight or fight response that much. I'm already like in my nervous system half the time. So
Yes.
so yeah, I think it's really helped, and I think I will just always have a little bit of an excitable personality and a little bit spastic, but I've learned to just accept that, and then with that comes some anxiety for sure. But I
Yeah.
don't mind it, and I think for me, not being scared of panic attacks kind of gave away their power, and so that really helped me. But I feel for people. Panic attacks are really like they hurt, they're really painful, and I feel like even when I have now and then when I still have a panic attack, now I can just kind of see it for what it is, but like I'll cry afterwards, or I get exhausted, and so it's definitely like a real physical thing.
Yeah, it's like whole body and also out of
Yeah.
body. Like you're having like a dream state experience where you're like, I don't know what's going on. I shouldn't be driving. Like you have to sit down
Yes,
and wait for it to pass. They can be weird.
exactly. Yeah.
Can be
Yep.
really weird.
Yeah, yep, and I definitely also experienced like it was almost as if a panic attack was similar to a seizure, in the way that like for the day or two after I had a bad panic attack, I would feel like very depersonalized, and I really like kind of super out of it. And
Yeah.
that also was an annoying symptom, because it's like, okay, the main event happened, but then for a couple days after, you're still in the wake of everything. So I feel for people that have them.
Yeah, I think I remember like probably like the first panic attack I've had. It was like I was alone in my bedroom, but I felt like everyone knew. Like I was like people can definitely see
Yeah.
or like feel this through the walls. And I felt like my brain was just like melting or sweating profusely. I was like like it's so clear I'm freaking out. Like everyone must know, but it's very internal. So, I don't know.
Very
You
much.
you
I
need a
remember
support
calling my
system.
parents. Yes, I remember even knowing enough. I don't even know how I knew, but I remember calling my parents on the phone and being like, I am either having a heart attack or I think I'm having a panic attack. I have anxiety disorder. And like I was able in like 5 minutes to like weirdly diagnose myself.
Oh,
I don't
that's
know if
good.
you are too, but I'm Jewish, and so I also think too, like going along with being Jewish is just part of like this the good or bad stereotype is that we definitely have anxiety a lot. But
Okay.
what I'm
I'm
exploring now
not
too,
Jewish, but was raised Catholic, so I just have like inherent guilt for a
guilt,
lifetime.
yeah. We just have like celiac disease, but I'm really now like diving into, I think, my next year. I really want to explore more how like food is triggering my mental health and anxiety, because I know I have some. I eat gluten and dairy, but like I've been to a few doctors, and I actually had one doctor tell me like, you don't have an anxiety problem, you have a dairy allergy.
Oh no.
And so I know, and so I want to, like, commit myself a little bit for a couple months at least, and see if that makes a difference in how I feel. It's not easy though, because I love pizza and mac and cheese.
Oh my god, I could not. Yeah, I don't know if I could do that, but if you know it's going to make you feel better, or at least like this is temporary, let's experiment, see how I
Yeah,
feel, then it's worth it for sure.
exactly. I'm always down to try everything for like a few months, and see then it's to see if if you feel like more energetic or more creative. I think it's good to try, and I
Yeah.
think it's also good to create space for us to, in your schedule and in your life, if you can. Like, luckily, I don't have any children. I mean, luckily for me, but like, for me, I don't have. I mindfully have chosen not to have children.
Right.
But so I have, like, given myself space and time to kind of like work on my own mental health, and yeah.
Yeah, you have that, that room every day to be like, let me do some Meryl time and like let's check in and let's give up cheese, I guess, for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do this hard
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And honestly, mental health was one of a big decision of why I've decided, like, for right now, to really not have children, because I felt like, I don't know, in just some ways I kind of know myself and know my mental health capabilities, and children and child rearing just seems like, I don't know if I would, like, honestly be up to the task. So I would rather just, like, bow out for now, and so yeah.
Yeah. Is it cuz like I guess like every woman has to be like, should I have a kid? We have to figure this out by a certain time. Was it just like your internal dialogue telling you that, or people pressuring you like your parents?
Both very much. Yeah, I mean, my mom, every single conversation with my mom is like her wondering where her grandchild is. But it's more
Oh.
just like lacking the yeah, exactly. It's lacking the desire to have. I like never ever have of being pregnant or want to. It's just like I feel very neutral about it, and yeah, and honestly, like, I don't know if I trust myself mentally in many different ways with children, and so I've kind of,
Mhm.
part of my mental health is definitely struggling a little bit with more intrusive thoughts, and quote unquote, like, scary OCD thoughts, and so it definitely, in full honesty, like, I think having a child would really bring those up, and I almost just, like, it might be safer for me and everyone not to have a child. So yeah, that's
Right.
like the dark truth, that's like for real truth, but
Well, I think that's a real argument. Like people, I know like Sarah Silverman has said before she doesn't want kids because she has really bad depression, or like that's one of her excuses.
Mhm.
Where it's like, yeah, that's a legitimate excuse. You don't want to pass on something that's made your life really hard to a child. And
Yeah,
for you, if you don't want a kid and you've never wanted a kid, maybe that's the future you want.
exactly. I think
Yeah.
so. It'll just be me and my cheeseless mac and cheese, and my
Dairy
boyfriend.
free.
Yeah, exactly.
It's yeah, it's hard but not impossible. I eat pretty gluten free because my boyfriend has an insensitivity, and it's not that bad. With certain foods, I'm like, oh, I miss gluten, but overall, there's a lot of alternatives.
See, yeah, that's very good. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
super good. But I definitely think too, even just to, like, now that to talk to, I've really also been, I think mental health also goes into so much of how we spend, like, our money, and how we spend our time,
Yeah.
and the relationships, and taking accountability for, like, our relationships, and like what we tolerate and what we don't tolerate. And so I think, like, the past
Yes.
couple of years, my anxiety seemed to go down the more that I spoke up for myself and kept boundaries. I think for women it's really hard, because we're expected to, like, text people back in 5 minutes, and answer everyone on email, and be cute, and do all these things at once. So I think, like, the more in a self-love I brought in for not being perfect, I think the less I had, like, very bad anxiety.
Yeah, that is so it's so like a lifelong thing to learn and maintain, like the boundary setting, the like not being perfect and gender conformities and like how to overcome those. That's that's going to be past my lifetime, the whole like women getting equal rights. But I don't know. It's long and it's hard, and you have to do the work. Like what's a boundary
Exactly.
that you set or like you're trying to set recently?
That's a good one. For me, definitely taking on too much work. I think, I love to work, and I'm lucky that I have a lot of like work opportunities, and because I'm freelance, I think this is a lot of things like freelance people go through too, is that I feel like I work in a very like Montessori school sort of way where it's like, I'll just like, I feel like doing this, and so I'm going to do this. I'm going to work on this project or this. But I think
I love
sometimes,
that comparison.
isn't it? Because I think a lot of times, like I'll feel like at 11 a.m. I feel like posting about the podcast, and then noon I feel like doing this, and so, because so I think it's hard for freelancers sometimes because we don't know when our cup is really full, and also when you have projects that are like waxing and waning, I never know, like it's hard to find a medium when you know that you're done taking on more work. So trying to lean in now and almost like not taking enough work and just even trying to like lower my expenses or just kind of like take a minute and not have my schedule jam packed all the time. So I would say like
Yeah.
it's not a boundary that anyone has put on me. It's all, I think anytime I run over my own boundaries, it is definitely all self-inflicted, but it's more like me looking at my schedule and not feeling the need to jam pack.
Right, because you're doing comedy, you're doing podcasting, you're also a journalist. Like you got to have room for all these projects and like the writing time and the driving times. Like how do you make time for just like the couch or like my walk outside? Like you have to schedule those things too, or block out free
Exactly.
time.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And I think I don't, like I personally don't have this problem, but I think it's really important for people to surround themselves with like friends and people that are good influences. Like, I mean, I feel like that my friends are, but I could just imagine if there's people out there that have friends that are, if they're trying not to like drink alcohol and they have friends that don't understand that, or they don't respect boundaries. I believe in just, taking a step back for real and like assessing who you're spending your time with. And I think it's really important for us to be surrounded by good people that cheer us on. And I think it's better to even have like one or two friends rather than like 18 friends,
Oh
So,
yeah. And there's that quote, like you are an amalgamation of the like 3 to 5 most people you see all the time. So like if you don't
yeah,
like your friends, then maybe like drop them or minimize your time with them because you're gonna become like their friends.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I think I'd honestly rather be alone most of the time rather than being with someone whose company doesn't uplift me.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like a work aholic sometimes too, and lately I've been like, you're working on the wrong stuff. So I'm trying to surround myself with script writers and funny people and like people doing the acting thing, just because I want to be like in that industry, in that bubble. And then
Yes.
if you're not working on being an entertainment mogul or star, then like I don't need to be like the most like you. I could put you I could put you on tier 2.
Exactly. Exactly. Then they could buy your book or buy your script. Exactly. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think everyone has a role, and sometimes people are like the supporters of our life, and sometimes we're the supporters of others. And yeah. I think that's a really good one.
And
And
it like makes me sound like a crazy person to be like, oh, you're not trying to be a screenwriter, then I don't want to hang out with you. But it's just because
no,
I'm focused on the LA vision right now. Like this is the time in my life I can
yeah,
focus on it. So
exactly. I think sometimes I don't think a lot of us realize how much sacrifice, like, the people like Mark Cuban and the people that we see on Shark Tank, and like
yeah.
the, I think that I was listening to an interview with like a makeup person, and they were saying like, you don't understand. I said no to like every friend obligation for a year while I worked on my brand, and I just stayed inside and really worked on my stuff. So, I don't know if I'm that disciplined, like I need friend time, but I
Mhm.
think I think I respect to me if like someone's working on something and they just tell me like, hey, I might not see you for a few months.
Yeah, I respect it too. It's hard to keep that boundary up. I think I need to have like a tangible, like I'm applying to this fellowship or something to make that
Yeah.
boundary real. But sometimes you can just say, hey, I don't feel like hanging out today and probably not like all month because I got stuff going on. And, hopefully your friends respect that. If not,
Definitely.
drop them.
Exactly. And honestly, like what you and I are doing here, talking is like my favorite form of friendship because it's like we're
Nice.
like it's recorded. But I mean, like I try to put in things I already like doing, like going on a walk or even
Yeah.
tomorrow. So geeky, but I'm going grocery shopping with one of my friends tomorrow because it's just like we don't have time to see each other, and so going to Costco makes us both excited. So we're gonna do it together, and so I
Nice.
think a lot of times people are just looking for love and looking for like connection. So sometimes I just try to think like, how can I give that person what, that without and have fun as well and like get what I'm looking out of it for.
Yeah, that's not geeky at all. Like I went grocery shopping with a friend some time ago and I was like, this is great. Why don't we do this all the time? I can like talk to you and it makes the
Exactly.
errand less stressful. So I'm a fan of that. I should
Me
do that
too.
more.
You can get each other's rewards if you get like a few dollars back. They could be next to you in line getting rewards back.
Yeah. You make conversation with the cashier.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Even yesterday, I went into the office for my day job, and we don't. I work remotely, so I don't go into the
Mhm.
office. But my boss was like, "It would be nice to like get lunch and see everyone," and I was like, "Yes, I'm so down to get lunch." And it was like the best day of my life in recent history. I was like, I went into the office, I talked to many people, like
Yes.
I felt important. I got a lunch, like I felt like it was such a great day because it's so out of the ordinary for me.
I love that. See, yeah,
Yeah.
and I think now and then when you are feeling social, it is good to have that. I
Mhm.
really wish that we had more of those, like the old time salon type dinners where everyone would get together and it would be like more of a bespoke experience. I really would love that where it's like every 6 weeks you could just bring all your friends and I'd bring my friends and everyone can just like that would be our chance to get together and socialize. And it's a little bit more meaningful than just like all these weird like one-offs that don't really matter.
All these networking events. Although
Yeah, oh god.
although those are important too, and you invited me to one and I tried to go. I'm sorry I couldn't make it.
Oh, that's okay. I actually didn't go either. I was very lazy and we watched Stranger Things instead. So
Oh, nice. I know for me it was like it was a busy house filled weekend where I was like, gotta do stuff for the house and it took all my energy.
I know. It's hard to on a Sunday. I think that event was on a Sunday and it's like Sunday's always my least. I never want to do anything.
I know it's a lazy day.
And I was just going to say too, I think my mental health really also I notice it fluctuates when I can basically tell sometimes that I get very anxious if there's like something in my life I need to end or move on from, like
Yeah.
specifically jobs or projects. And so I really learned, I think this past couple of years to like leave things when I don't want to be there anymore. And because I could think of a few years ago I was really anxious and it was just I needed to leave a job and it was taking forever, and then finally when I did, like I felt way better.
Mhm.
So I think sometimes anxiety can be an indicator that you like need to move on to whatever the next phase is, even if you don't know what that is.
Yeah, like it's a sign like you're maybe pushing something under the rug and like you
Yeah,
should stop doing that because it's just making your mental health worse.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome that you like had the courage to leave the job though, because then was it like you were building up to the moment to quit and you didn't know when the right time was?
Yes, it took me like almost 2 years to quit.
That's
And then
so
it was so
long.
funny. That's so long. I know. And then it was so funny. Then when I quit, I gave my notice and I was there for another 6 months.
Oh my god.
And I mean, it was a very like family type business, but I would be screaming like, I quit. Why am I still here 4 months later? But it just
Right.
took me that long. I was there for 11 years. So it was like, it was a really long ending of a relationship. But I
Yeah.
look back and that was I mean, I had to take 2 weeks off due to mental health, like a few times while I was there. And it was really just like looking back, I was like, get over yourself and quit the job. And so I think it was like I think
It was the
I don't know
baby
if
step
anyone
that you needed.
exactly. And I was just gonna say too, I also like empathize with the feeling of shame when you either take time off of a job or of school for mental health, and then that feeling of coming back because you kind of feel like you're like people are a little bit afraid of you or people are whispering. And so I've definitely had that experience too where I felt like I kind of had, whatever you call it, maybe like a nervous breakdown or something, but that's also like I rarely feel shame, but I feel like that was a moment in life that I definitely didn't feel quite understood.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be hard when like your breakdown or like your mental health like declining could become public where you're like, "Oh, now everyone knows and I have to
Yes.
be near these people all the time and be in class with them or work." And yeah, that can be hard to manage.
Exactly. It's embarrassing, and it's definitely not like, I don't want to deny that it's not embarrassing, but it's also now like not, those people don't really like matter in my life, or
No.
like I'm out of a whole situation. So it's kind of, and now it almost is like, yeah, that's embarrassing, but I like, who cares, So I think
Yeah.
if anyone's in a situation like that, just know that it kind of like, it doesn't matter in the whole scheme of things.
Right, it's like the concept of shame and embarrassment. It's like
Yeah.
we perpetuate this idea of shame and like it's pretty useless for most of us. Like what are you getting out of shame? Just like the fact that you want to hide in your house or under a blanket.
Exactly, exactly. And I think especially with mental health, like if you suffer from it, then then you feel for others. And if you don't suffer from it, like God bless you, because you're a different type of person. But
Yeah.
I think it's like, I think when you go through something, you have a new way to understand it. And so I think those people may, who knows, maybe later on in life they'll find out, and they'll know. But yeah.
Yeah, but you can from my current philosophy, it's like if someone's judging me, like, they're going to judge me regardless, so like let them do it
Mhm.
and I'll live my life, and if they're being a bitch or like being mean, I don't need to listen to them and I can, never talk to them again, doesn't matter. So, let them judge.
Oh my God, if anyone's ever mean to you, I'll beat them up. Who could be mean to you?
Oh, thank you, Meryl. I'll beat up your enemies too.
Okay, good. You're like the sweetest. I can't imagine anyone. If honestly, I will like, I don't even. I'll hack their Instagram if they're annoying.
Oh my god, the worst crime. Thank you. It happens to everyone. Everyone has like there's always someone going through some shit that they're not dealing with, and then they take it out on someone else. Like that happens all the
Yes.
time.
Yeah, definitely. I think about that a lot in public, where it's like we don't know what people are going through or dealing with, and so it's just, I always just try to tell people, like, before you're going to snap at someone, at like when you're getting coffee or when you're driving, just like maybe they found out they just had like lupus, or who knows, we don't know what they're going through. So
Yeah.
um or maybe they just had a panic attack and then now they're foggy, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I just like how
um,
you called out lupus. You were like, that must be it. So specific.
I just always think of someone being diagnosed with lupus and then like not driving correctly and then they get yelled at. I always think of that. I don't know why.
It's very yeah, very empathetic of you to be like, they must have a terrible disease they don't know how to deal with. They
I'm
must be
like, it
so
must be
tired.
autoimmune.
Yes.
Exactly.
I saw someone littering right out of their car the other day. Like they were stuck in a red light. They opened their car and dropped masks and water bottles. And I
Oh
wanted
my
to honk at them and be like, what are you doing? But then I didn't because I was like, what if they back into my car? Or like, what if they want to fist fight me? I'm not
Yeah.
going to do it. And then I started creating a story. I was like, maybe they're a Lyft driver and like someone gross is in their car. They just want that stuff out of there. It's not an excuse, but I was trying to
Right.
make up an excuse for them just to be like,
That
they're a person too.
Yeah, they're a person too. But I also believe littering should be like a corporal punishment, or like a
I
hand for
know.
in Turkey or Istanbul, don't they like cut off their hands or something? So
Oh
I
my
believe in
God.
that. An eye for
I
an eye treatment.
I was looking around being like, where are the cops now? When do you need them? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I have empathy for everyone but like animal abusers and litterers. So yeah,
yeah.
totally.
Yeah, next time I should honk and like see what happens.
Exactly.
Don't do that. This is our earth.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So you have anxiety and it's going okay. Is
Uh-huh.
it like you found the key to how to manage your anxiety, or is it like a day to day? We'll see how today goes, and maybe we need more sunshine.
Exactly. Yeah, option B for sure. I
Okay.
think it is, yeah, it is an everyday process. And I am definitely not like cured of no anxiety, and so, but I think it is for me a lifelong, like, this is the meditation basically, like I don't have to drive to Santa Monica somewhere and like go to yoga, because it's like every single day is the meditation of like the discipline of treating my body right and the discipline of doing like the self-care things I need to. So no, it is an ongoing thing for sure. And also just days that I know, like maybe I had some wine the night before and then I'm tired and now I have too much caffeine, and just knowing like that's going to be a day that I feel anxious, but I don't like spin out myself out the way that I used to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool to hear your point of view. That's like, oh, maybe it's the food I'm eating, or maybe it's like, the caffeine intake or something else I'm doing to my body, and like that's totally affecting my brain. What's your
Yeah.
what's your caffeine ritual? Do you do coffee every day? Yeah,
Yes,
I am
I,
too.
I, yeah, me too. I need it. I mean, I don't have to say I need it. Oh yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
I have
It's
a
like it's
very
like a mushroom coffee too. It's like a low processed coffee that's not that strong, but it's still like this is what I need today.
is it that mud water thing, or is it for Sigmatic or something? Or
I feel like it's similar to mud water, but it's from like a dude who was selling little ground up mushrooms at a booth.
damn, you're trustworthy. I love it. That's amazing.
It was in
Um.
Philadelphia. They know what they're doing.
Oh, okay. Philly, I would trust it. In Venice or something, no, not so
No,
much.
not in Venice. No.
Okay, good. I have a very on and off again relationship with coffee where I do take breaks, like, once a year. I'll probably do about like 3 times of going off of it for about 2 weeks just to like kind of
Oh
reset
wow,
a little bit.
that's
Just because I
intense.
can, yeah, and the 2 weeks are very sad. And there's also nothing sadder than doing a stand-up comedy show when you're like day 4 into a caffeine withdrawal.
Yeah.
So,
I can't see it
um,
affecting you that much though, because I feel like you're so like buoyant with energy. So I think you'd be
thank
fine.
you. It just helps. Yeah, and I think too. I have not learned yet how to like fully be a working writer without drinking a little bit of coffee every day. It definitely
Yeah.
helps me. And so same thing as I don't feel bad about it anymore. Now I've just learned to like drink more water, or I don't really drink coffee on an empty stomach anymore. I try to like drink up, do other digest other stuff before. So it's also just learning like, okay, for me, I've also learned like I am not an all or nothing person, and it kind of makes me feel more anxious to be restrictive with myself. So um just learning to like say, okay, it is okay to have a little bit of coffee or a little bit of this, but just learning like how to do it.
Yeah, the fact that you even do like a 2-week break multiple times a year, where did that idea come from? Because to me, that sounds impossible.
Okay, the idea came because I would get really bad acid reflux, and I one time I threw up on my computer. So
No.
I took a sip and then all of a sudden I threw up. But like, and then the other time I had a bad hive outbreak, and I had a feeling that I was kind of overdoing it with caffeine, so I decided to take a break. So it's my body, talk about boundaries. Somebody like it puts me down until I take a break, and then I go. Then it's also glorious because then when you come back from drinking it, you're like extra hyped up. So it's good.
Yeah. Oh my God, your body literally revolted. It was like, nope, we're gonna vomit. We're gonna
Yes,
break out.
break out vibes. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So I think you're describing my immediate future. So I'm gonna take a caffeine break this summer.
Good.
Yeah.
You have to clear your schedule. I'm so grumpy when it's like the worst.
hmm Luckily, summer seems a little like easier work wise. So I'm trying to be like, if I don't need to be like jacked up all the time, maybe I can chill,
Yeah.
have some
Yeah,
herbal tea.
definitely. Definitely. But yeah, I think it's okay. And I think like I always think too, okay, I feel like I'm needing something a lot. Obviously caffeine I like, but if I'm going through a lot of time, I think for me definitely I still really do struggle with like food. Like I love food and I eat healthfully, but I also can eat really poorly, and like portion sizes. And I think too over like the past couple of years I've gained a bunch of weight, and so I definitely like I definitely have not healed fully my relationship with food. So I think that's something that I'm working on, which is so funny because I feel so strongly that it has to do with mental health. So
Definitely. It's like it's usually connected. So
yeah,
I feel like you're onto something.
I definitely do. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that is just kind of all in one. It's fun being a
Yeah.
human.
I know
Kind of.
you're never bored.
Exactly. And also in August, I turned 40, and this is
Oh
the
my
first
God.
year. Isn't that weird? I know. So, but I also don't feel that way. But I'm noticing that, like, just as a woman, this is the first time I'm starting to kind of see it like, oh, I need to treat my skin better and, like, for real, protect myself from the sun. And I'm
Yeah.
starting to see the effects of just like poor self care sometimes. So, so yeah, I've been trying to right a few wrongs.
I mean, that's a huge like landmark birthday. So happy early birthday.
Thank you.
That's so exciting. And I think what sucks about age and being a woman, because we like deteriorate faster than men,
Yep.
is like you get older and you're like, oh, I have to like notice this and I have to adjust this and I can't drink as much caffeine because of the acid reflux and like I can't eat as much chocolate because of the
I
acid reflux.
know. Yes.
It really sucks. But it's
'Cause
good
I
to
think
like take advantage of those signs and actually do something rather than keep ignoring
yes.
them.
Definitely. But I also feel like in my soul, every now and then I need a night where I just like drink a Jack and Coke and then I have a pizza and then I definitely am like in my heart I could have a little party girl side too. So I think I need to like every now and then I need to let that side out and just kind of have
Yeah.
a night where it is 3 a.m. and I'm like eating Cool Ranch Doritos. So that has been good for me too, you know?
Yeah, you have to do a little bit of both sides of like this is my healthy life and like this is my night on the town where I don't care at all.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. You have to do both. I think one time my friend made up a song where he was like, this is going to be like insatiable eating day. And he was like, this is the day I don't care. And it's like, yeah, sometimes you have to have days like that.
I love that.
Yeah. As long
I
as
was
you're
just
not like, my life is this where I just don't give a
yeah.
fuck.
Exactly, exactly. And it's all about being, to me, it's like being mindful about the experience. Like, I don't want to go to a gas station and just wolf down like a pizza. But to me, if I'm out at like an Italian restaurant with my friends, and then like I will definitely splurge on experiences that I think are like more more fun. And then I just try not to like if I'm tailgating somewhere, I just try not to like eat crap and not notice it. If anything, when the moments that I do eat unhealthy, it's a little bit I try to be more mindful and at least like have fun while I'm doing it and have it be like, under my umbrella as we say.
Yeah, like I'm not just eating this crappy pizza for the sake of eating a pizza. It's like, no, I want this pizza. It's a nice pizza. My friends are here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
making it count, making it really worth it.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. And I think that's a lot of for me mental health too is like if I'm feeling like if I'm just like I'm bored today, whatever, then it's like, okay, I'm going to go on a walk and have like as much fun as I can or call a friend. And so every day I really try to think about like how can I make what I'm doing just like mean a little more to me at least. So yeah.
Yeah, how do I make it all count and
Yeah.
maximize it?
Exactly. Yep.
That's so important. And how is because you're recently in Burbank from San Diego, how's your move and like your transition to LA going?
Oh my gosh, so good. I've wanted to live up here ever since I was trying to quit that job like years ago. I've been back and forth like I've lived half up here and half in San Diego and it was just crazy. And so finally, like how we talked about, I just made like the full move and luckily my boyfriend is wonderful and he came, he decided to move with me. That was kind of what was holding us up. But
Nice.
yeah, so he's with me now too and it's just like I feel very happy and very aligned. So yeah, I mean LA is annoying about, there are a lot of annoying parts and it's like so unbelievably expensive here, but there's a lot of good things and I have a great friend group and just great friends and like
Oh,
there's
nice.
I like it here. I live by like the horses in Burbank too, so I love
Oh, you
being around
do?
horses. Yep.
I kind of live by horses in Long Beach. It's very strange.
Really?
Yeah, it's like I don't know where they're coming from. I guess they're stable somewhere, but I see them on the street. I'm like, well, why is there a horse on the street?
Isn't that so funny?
It does pull my head out of the clouds to be like, what is happening? Like,
Yes.
look at this world.
I know. I will never get used to just the other day I was walking down the street and I saw a guy walking his pony and I started screaming like a pony and the guy's like, "Yeah, we're out here every day."
I mean, California, man, it's like people and their little like things that get them through the day, like the
I
little
know.
cars they drive. I see people driving these like race cars or ATV looking things, and I'm like, you do that. I'll watch.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I love living in California. I really want to check out more like European cities over the who knows what's going to happen in our country over the next couple of years or whatever. But it would be I need to definitely like leave the country more. I mean, it's been hard for all of us the past couple of years, but
Mhm.
I really would like to like just see more of like Spain and Portugal and kind of just see like how other cities live because I think that they might a little bit more of like a grounded and healthier life in a lot of ways. But I think it's good to check it out.
You definitely should. You have to like put that on the bucket list and start booking flights.
Very much so. Yes, I want to eat pasta in Amalfi Coast. That's my dream.
Ooh, that sounds awesome. Where is the Amalfi Coast? Is that along Spain?
Italy.
Italy. Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'm
It's
a
where
bad
you'll see a lot of
Italian.
a lot of influencers will post annoying photos of them there, but I don't want that part of it. I just want to eat like lemon meringue pie.
Oh my god, Italy. Yeah, I've only been to Rome, but the food is like to die for. Like you got to figure out
Yeah.
your gluten allergy
Yeah.
before you go, just so you know what to expect. But then you're gonna eat gluten
Mhm.
while you're there.
I will,
And
if I'm in
dairy.
Italy, I'm going to be glutening myself. And I've also heard that
Yeah.
people, I wondered what your boyfriend would do, because I've heard people say that they can go and eat anything and they don't feel like as sick.
Right, because it's not processed. So
Yeah.
that could be.
Yep.
Because I bring him back to New York where my family is, and we eat pizza there. Like I have to like beg him to eat gluten, and he'll do it. And it's always like it's usually not as bad as eating regular gluten, because at least in New York, like the water is different and they're
Yeah.
trying a little harder than LA.
Exactly.
So Italy,
Oh, New York
anything
pizza
goes.
too.
Yeah. It's worth it. It's worth the migraines and the stomach pains.
Exactly. I hear
Yeah. For those with the gluten intolerance.
you.
But then you're turning 40. Do you have any big plans? Are you gonna plan a trip?
I was for real going to do an Italy trip, but for now, that was something my boyfriend wanted to do with me, but we're going to wait on that just for a few months. So I'm going to Seattle with my really good friend. I'm going to give a shout out to my brilliant friend Lauren O'Brien, who's a wonderful comedian too, another comedian, and a great impressionist. So she's one of my best, or she is my best friend. And so I'm going to go on a trip to
Oh,
Seattle with
awesome.
her for a few days, and then I'm going to do an East Coast. A few weeks later, I go to Boston, so I'll be having lobster.
Nice. So a few days in Seattle with a good friend, and then hop over to Boston and
Yep.
Italy
So
later.
then Italy later. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
I still felt tired about leaving the country, because it's like I wouldn't want anything weird COVID-ish to happen and then like be stuck in Italy for 14 days. Like that would just be a lot. So I just wanted to chill with the international travel until like a few more months at least.
Yeah. I feel like if you try not to go around a peak holiday time, that's better,
Yeah.
because everyone's going to be traveling for the holidays.
Yes.
But
I could just see a situation where now
live
I'm
your
like,
life.
I live in Italy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Which would that be that bad, Meryl? I don't know.
No, exactly. That sounds like how a sitcom would start, or like a romantic comedy or anything. So yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. I want to ask, have you ever had like a really bad therapist who totally wasted your time or was clearly not good at their job?
Very much so. Oh my gosh, yes. I would say probably looking back, the first one that I had in Pennsylvania was like more strictly like I would say more cognitive therapy, but they just kept on trying to like rehash anything in the past. I feel like I have a very good relationship with my parents, and I feel like my family relationship is really healthy. And I felt like we were focusing like way too much on why I was mad at my mother, or why, I don't know if that's like Freudian or Ginsburg. I don't know what school of thought it was. Like he just wanted to find out why I was mad at my parents. But finally I just kind of
Yeah.
called him out on it. And I said like, and I also like, I'm a big believer of more of like the NLP, like the more like I try to be careful about like what I'm speaking into existence. And if I'm upset about something, I don't want to like all the time keep talking about it over and over without trying to reframe it in some way. And so I kind of told him like, I don't really want to tell the same story to you over and over. And my relationship with my parents are fine. So like you need to kind of find something else. And so then I think I like fired him, even though I was like 16. I think I like fired him the next day as my therapist.
Oh, good for you. What
Yeah.
does
Yeah. I think
NLP
it's
stand for?
neuro linguistic programming. So some
Oh,
some of
okay.
it can be, yeah, some of it can be like a little culty or Scientology-ish or whatever, because it can get a little bit weird. But I believe in like the very there is some like basic research back to it of like changing your dendrites and your, your neural pathways just by like the way that you speak and kind of how you frame yourself as a person. Like I try to really go out of my way not to say like I'm broke or I'm a loser, and so because it's like basically I don't want my identity to be like, yes, I am a broke person. And so I think
Yeah.
it's a little bit of like a law of
Like you're
attraction type
speaking
thing,
it
but
into existence. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So I definitely believe in that. So I think like I've had therapists before too. Like I've mentioned, I went to a shaman once. That's really fun. I forgot. I went to a shaman in Portland. Um I know.
In Portland?
Yeah, I went to a
Oh my
shaman in
God.
Portland
What
and
happened?
they just told me I was dehydrated. I need to drink more water.
The shaman?
Yep.
Was he like a old school shaman, or was this like a 22-year-old?
Oh no, it was like an old, like a witchy woman type shaman.
Oh. And she said it was
Yeah.
just dehydration.
Yep.
Really?
Yes. And for me too, like I think for some people different modalities work. For me personally, I do not do well or relate to like inner child work. Like I respect that for sure, and I think it can work, but like my inner child just does not like inner child work. So that's kind of not like a mode that I really like. So there's different like
Yeah.
therapy tools that I know are not a fit for me. So I think I'm in some ways I'm kind of like a therapist nightmare in some ways, or like a good way, because I know what I like and what I don't like.
No.
But yeah,
Yeah. You know what you're looking for. Yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah.
makes
So I
sense.
think
Inner child work is more popular lately. And yeah, I think as a comedian, your inner child's probably okay because you're kind of having fun, but who knows?
yeah, exactly. And also I know like parts work, or like the internal family work, where I don't really like a lot of therapy where it tries to like segment the person so much. So it's like, Meryl number 9, how does this Meryl feel? And I feel like I'm already so like all over the place that what I don't need is like a fragmented approach. So I
Yeah.
think
You don't need
but
9
some people do.
personalities.
Exactly. Yeah, that kind of stuff is more harmful that for me. I also don't really relate to like past life regression or past life therapy. Like I I it may be true and it may be like something, but I also don't think like that my neck hurts because I was in a sword fight from 10 lives ago. So I think it's just all about like trying everything and then seeing which one resonates with you or not.
Yeah. Like which belief system are you going to subscribe to, or which one clicks with you?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we all have our own inner like magnet or inner compass of feeling resonance and like what feels right. And so I think that that's also part of the process.
Yeah. And a lot of it falls into like framework and word choice and like stuff like that. So
Yeah.
the fact that the shaman told you drink more water. I'm glad you hung out to you like hung on to that point of advice.
Exactly. I did. I still, and I feel like he was right. I'm like, thank you, Shaman. I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's working. that
Exactly.
witchy that witchy craft. um
Exactly.
we're coming to the end. Is there any like topic that you want to vent about or anything that's like on your mind that you just want to rage for a minute?
Yeah. I was thinking about this. I wanted to vent about how hard it is for people to get the right type of mental health in this, in this world, especially in the United States right now, because it's like provided, the therapist that I mentioned before that I really liked, she was like $200 a session. And it's like, who had, if you go
Yeah.
there weekly and you're spending $800 a month, that's like really, it's not her fault. She's a working person, but it's just like, and then I feel like the therapists that are covered by insurance, a lot of times it can be a nightmare to, work it all out and get the bills paid. And then also, I know there's a lot of like online resources, but a lot of times those don't work either. And so I think, I'm not saying they don't work, but I'm just saying it's hard for people to really like easily find care that they need. Um, and I'm
Right.
someone like I don't want to text all day with a therapist. Like that doesn't work for me. Like I don't want to email back and forth with someone. Like I need more like I wish there was more community in-person support. So that's pretty much my vent, that it's hard to find it and it's like intimidating a lot of times for myself and others, I'm sure. And it's just like, yeah, it's weird that it's not more there and less expensive.
Yeah, it's such a huge problem. And even like the online programs that offer therapy, it's like, yeah, it's accessible online, but then you miss that in-person interaction, and it's kind of just as expensive as paying out of pocket. So I don't know,
Yeah.
you're still going pretty broke going to like full-fledged, full price therapy all the time.
Yes, exactly. Yep, it's crazy, and people need it. So I think there are like a lot of in-person supportive events, whether it's just groups or healing groups or whatever. I definitely believe in that, but I know for me too, like I definitely need to be like in person with my therapist and there. And so and I also like don't want to spend $200 every week. That's a lot to spend. So I
Yeah.
think like life coaching, mental health, all that stuff is just like you have to, it's weird that you like already have to be really wealthy to be able to afford it. And it's not right.
Yeah, it's like so selective as to who can access whatever therapist they
Yeah,
want, whatever field they want at any time. Like you have to be an elite person to just be like, I'm going to
exactly.
call 3 therapists and find out who I like the best.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
Yep.
messed up. Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
I'm venting.
Yeah, definitely like a political and international vent for like I hope it gets better. I don't know what to do.
I know, I know. I know. It's all crazy.
Yeah. Luckily a lot of people are becoming therapists. Maybe we'll have like more like a little army of qualified therapists coming out in 10 years.
I hope so. And maybe it will be more like the type of thing where it is just more built into community, where there's more like
Yeah.
community centers that you can go and get really good care from really intelligent workers, and it's like, either free and they get paid some another way somehow, maybe they're paid by big business or by someone else, but yeah, I think it's going to.
Big
And
business.
also maybe we'll also, yeah, exactly, and we'll live. I think that also comes from a society that is just really all over the place, because if we had more community, we'd just be able to like kind of all be there for each other. So yeah.
Yeah, we do struggle to like build community.
Yeah,
We live in this dog eat dog world. So
exactly.
I hope it gets better.
I know.
We will spin the roulette wheel.
Woo! You're such a good
Woo!
podcast host.
I try. Are you a casino person?
I like to eat the buffets, but not anything else.
just go for the food.
Exactly.
This is just it's more of a carnival game, but similar to
I
a
love your
casino.
prize wheel. That's so cute.
Thank you. You
That's
get
beautiful.
question 2. What do you like the best about your life and the least?
Ooh, I love it. Okay, let's see. I really do love my life.
Hard-hitting
I
questions.
I know I love these questions. Uh, I would say what I like the most about my life is I honestly feel like I'm like truly blessed with like parents that I just like love my parents so much, and they're just like, I feel like I always tell them that if I had to like pick a parent handbook and like order parents, like they're who I would pick. Like I would pick them out of a catalog. They're my people. I love them so much. And then same thing with
That's
like,
such a high compliment. That's so nice.
aw, that's why I don't want to have any new lives or past lives, because I'm like, I just want this life with my parents. Um, and same
Yeah.
thing with the people I have around me. I think like my boyfriend and my friends, and I would say that's my favorite thing about my life is like I love my people so much, and so I think that's my like favorite thing is I'm really like really lucky. Um, and that way, and then the thing that's like probably the challenging the
Surrounded by
most
love.
is, I love that. I love. I would say probably the most challenging thing is that maybe like this is also a blessing and a curse. I think because I do have like so many different pathways and things that I like to do, and also the same kind of thing is like I have places I want to live, and I'm very enthusiastic, but I feel like sometimes that can lead to me almost feeling like I'm never in the right place doing the right thing. So always this feeling of
Mhm.
like, if I'm in New Orleans, I want to be in like Nashville. If I'm in Nashville, I want to be in Europe. And so trying to like put myself in the moment with like the jobs and the locations and everything. So I think that would be like a challenge that we're just like accepting what is happening right here and now in reality.
Yeah. Curbing that like FOMO feeling, the fear of missing out on something over there.
Yes, exactly. Because I've been on vacations before, and while I'm on a vacation, I'm looking up like the next place or the next thing. So not missing out on the next moment, because we're not missing out on the present moment. So yeah, I think that's definitely something I struggle with, is like being like off in the distance a little bit, but then needing to kind of come back into the now.
Yeah, just like bring yourself to the present.
Yeah.
Especially if you're already traveling, you gotta be in that city where you are.
Exactly. I know. I've been really guilty before of like texting about other cities when I'm in one city. Yeah, totally.
Like you should just like write a quick note. I want to go to Nashville next. That's it. Nothing else.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I should be so lucky that right now my biggest challenge is wanting to go on more vacations when I'm on a vacation. But I mean, I would say like that, and then emotionally, mentally, the probably the like figuring out a real routine of like what works for me best as I freelance, of like what would be the healthiest version of myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me know when you figure that out, because I think we're all
I
dying
know, I
to
will.
know.
I know. I feel like there's a few books written on it, but I don't want to read those, or I don't want to do anything.
It's all individual though. So like whatever works for you is gonna work for you. And
Yes.
then whatever works for the book, maybe a few of those things will work for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to fail, and you have to like struggle and be groggy, and it'll take some time, but you'll get there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Meryl, this has been so nice. Tell us where to find you online and anything you want to promote.
Thank you. Yes, I've had so much fun. You're such a great podcast host. I had a really,
Thank
really
you.
good time.
You're a great guest.
Yeah, you'll have to come on mine, and people they can hear your shit show stories too.
I would love to.
Okay, good.
I'll have to like narrow them down. What are the best shit show stories?
I know. Yeah, so you can find me. I'm on social at Meryl Klemow, and that's like Meryl Streep, and then Klemow, Klemow. And then, as Michele mentioned, the podcast is called Campfire Shit Show. And yeah, those are the easiest places.
Nice. And do you have any stand-up shows coming out? Or this will probably drop in August, so I don't know if you have anything booked for that far out.
Okay, I do know. Yes, I produce a show every couple months, and my next one is going to be September 17th at the Glendale Room in Glendale. So if anyone's listening, you're LA peep, come on out.
Nice. The Glendale Room. I haven't checked out that venue, but it looks like a little library, or there's books everywhere.
There's books everywhere. It's very cool.
Oh, that's so cool. I'll have to come to one of those shows and have an in-person experience.
I would love that.
Yes. But Meryl, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.